Yeah, I mean, well, the thing I forgot to say was, we call it Home Run Throwback. Buffalo calls it Home Run Throw Forward. Let me start off with a little history lesson here and give you some background. I think every team on Saturday is going to practice that last gasp effort of how do we score with 2 seconds left on the kickoff, those kind of things. And so I'll take you back to the Stanford-Cal game. Everybody remembers Stanford-Cal. And it was an amazing ending to an amazing college game. One of the greatest endings probably, with maybe exception of maybe recently Auburn, Alabama on the return field goal there. But so what we did, and what I did for years with Buddy Ryan, I worked for Buddy Ryan as an assistant, we would have a Stanford-Cal team. So we would pull together our most athletic, best 11 players that we had. Now, unfortunately for the big guys, they weren't on it. Ideally, you want to get left-handed guys and right-handed guys just to scramble around and throw the ball and keep it alive and push it down the field. So we had a Stanford-Cal team. And we would start off in training camp, and we would kick the ball off to Stanford-Cal team, and we'd have 5 guys covering, and we'd usually score against 5. And then each week on Saturday in the walkthrough before the games, you'd add a player. And so by the time you get to the end of the year, you're working your Stanford-Cal team, and it's a fun thing. The players love it, but that's what we had. So going into the 99 season, right before training camp, I was visiting with Alan Lowry, our special teams coach, and he says, I got a play that you need to take a look at. And he goes, I want to replace Stanford-Cal this year with something that has some kind of method to the madness, and let's get some structure. And I said, fine. So we looked at the play. I'm not going to go into detail as far as who ran the particular play, but it was in the late 60s, and it was between 2 Texas schools. And so we put together the system and spun off this play that we saw. So basically, for the entire season on Saturdays, we would call the home run throwback team is what we called them out on the field. And we would have 10 guys covering. It was just half speed. And we would kick the ball to different players on the return team. So, for example, you may kick it deep, and then you got to scramble around. Everybody does their business, get the ball to Frank, throw it back over here. You may kick it to the guy on the front line. He get it. He doesn't want it. He throws it back and gets it to Frank eventually. And so everybody's running around. But bottom line was we needed to get whoever got the ball, get it to Frank. And then we would have Derek Mason, who was our return guy. He would always hang out back outside on the numbers and be ready to get the ball from Frank and then escort his way up the sideline. So that's the background. So we've got this play. We've practiced it every single Saturday. We called it Home Run Throwback. So most everybody on the team knows Home Run Throwback. When you say Home Run Throwback, they know what we're doing. So here we go. Christie kicks the field goal through the uprights. The ball snapped with 20 seconds left. We're down by a point, I think, whatever it was, 2 points. So it's good. I turn the sideline and I look, and Alan Lowry, our special teams coach, is standing right there, and we simultaneously say home run throwback. And we were in agreement that it was a no-brainer, and so I'm looking for Derek Mason, who was our deep guy, just to remind him how important it is to stay behind the ball, stay behind the ball. And the trainer tells me, now this is during TV timeout, before the kickoff, after the field goal. Trainer tells me that Derek Mason is out, he has a concussion, and his words were, he's in next week someplace, he can't do anything, he can't come back. I said, okay, Anthony Dorsett is our backup, junior. I'm looking for Anthony to get him coached up really quick during the TV timeout and everything. And the trainer tells me again, Anthony Dorsett is cramping in the game. He wasn't starting, he was cramping. He was a cramper, but he can't go in. So I reach and grab Kevin Dyson as Kevin's walking by. Now, Kevin, if anybody knows anything about people, you would think Kevin Dyson is maybe more of a California guy. He's like, what's up, coach? It's like, Kevin, home run throwback. He goes, yeah, he looks at me. I go, we practice it every Saturday. He goes, Coach, I never paid attention. So I go, okay, here's what you do. I want you to stay 10 yards, or 5 yards rather, behind the ball and stay on the numbers, the painted numbers, the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, down on the field. But stay back outside on our numbers on the bench and stay behind the ball. Don't get caught up with it. Whatever happens, just stay back there. The ball's going to get to you and get what you can, because the field goal ties. And so Kevin says, yeah, okay, coach, whatever. So here we go. The first thing that happens is the kick that Lorenzo fields was one kick that we never practiced on all those Saturdays. It was always a hard squib, a deep ball here, a bunt here, that, but we never thought to just pop one up. Because to me, that particular kick didn't make any sense, because there's 16 seconds left, and if you pop it up, you can fair catch it, and then at least you got a shot to the boundary and maybe a shot for a field goal. So as the ball goes up in the air, oh my gosh, low, get it to Frank. And you see what happens here. I mean, Lorenzo catches the ball. He didn't want anything to do with that football because Lorenzo was a blocker. And so he has a presence of mind to get to Frank as fast as he can. So I see that happen. And then Frank starts to move. And from my vantage point, is Frank puts his feet in the ground, turns and throws to Kevin. I'm looking through Frank, and I can see Byron Boston, who's the wing official, point that direction. He points and he rules lateral on the field. Coaches are weird. You look at different things during the game, but I saw him go like that. So I didn't know what was going to happen, but I remember that in my peripheral vision. So now Kevin gets the ball and gets up. And then I pan down the sideline, and I'm actually saying, okay, get what you can, get out of bounds, get out of bounds, get out of bounds. And then as you start looking at things, I'm going, oh my gosh, score, Kevin, score. And then Kevin scores. So that's how the thing all comes. Now, at the end of the day, Kevin was well coached. Kevin was told 5 yards behind the ball, which now turns into 5 inches behind the ball. So now we go into replay. Well, I felt that because Byron had ruled it a lateral, that it was going to be hard to overturn. So the place is going nuts. The whole sideline is nuts. Now I am ahead, and I have to say, okay, this thing is going to count. What do I do here? And in my mind, I do the math, and I got to go for 2. So now I got to go for 2 after ruling on the field stands. In my mind, I didn't think if they made the announcement that based on the euphoria in the building that we would even be able to execute an offensive play. And then I go process further thinking, okay, what are the odds of this happening twice in 20 years, let alone twice the same game? So I just decided to kick the extra point. So we get the announcement, boom, everything's good, the place is going nuts. So many side stories. Our owner was in the elevator, my father was in the restroom. A lot of people, game was over when the Christie kicked that field goal. So nonetheless, we get the announcement, we kick the ball off, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but I believe to this day they pushed that kickoff up across midfield. My heart was in my throat because I was supposed to go for 2, and here we get it. I put the team in a situation where I shouldn't have, but nonetheless we made the tackle, and here we are. The rest is history. 20 years later, and it was amazing. A little side note. Every time I see it, which is often, especially nowadays, there's a young man. He's kind of jumping up and down on the bottom of your screen down here on the left, about the 10, the 5, and kind of fades out there on the goal line. That happened to be my oldest son, and he was on the sideline running Polaroids for the coaches during the game, and just got so excited and knew the play because he's the coach's kid. And anyway, we're at home that night after the game, and it comes on in the kitchen, and it's, there I am, Dad, look, there I am, I'm on TV again. And I go, hey, what are you doing out of the bench area? What are you doing in the white? All you gotta do is bump that official, and we wouldn't even be here talking about this right now. And I felt so bad because he's just like, that sign that you get from your child that you just about ruined his life. I mean, it just ruined his moment. And I go, no, it's okay. Had you bumped the official, this score would have counted, would have been assessed on the kickoff. And But anyway, that's my story. That's how it went down. That's truthful. Kevin Dyson, yeah, Coach, I never really paid attention. So Kevin was our hero, man, as was Frank and the rest of those guys on that team. And I'm just honored to have been a part of one of the greatest plays in playoff history.
Yeah.
Well, what's even funnier than this is, guess who we open to start the season?
Next year?
Yeah, Buffalo.
Yeah.
We go to Buffalo. Introductions, that's when you introduce the visiting team. I sent this kickoff return team out. One at a time. In Buffalo, oh, they were, oh gosh, yeah, it was great stuff.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.